right, despite President Obama's insistence that the economy is recovering, all evidence suggests otherwise, and there is perhaps no better illustration of that than the state of California. Once a thriving and vibrant economy, the Golden State has been steadily losing its shimmer for the past 50 years. In the post-war baby boom era of the 50s and 60s, California enjoyed agricultural, educational, infrastructure, business, and population growth while blossoming into a world-ranked economy that consistently outperformed that of the rest of the U.S. By contrast, today, the state is plagued by a multitude of problems. Last year, personal income fell 2.5%, the worst fall since the Great Depression, and unemployment stands at nearly 13%. Illegal immigration is costing the state billions a year. California faces an estimated $19 billion deficit, and the state has yet to even pass a budget for the fiscal year which started on July 1st. Now, the lack of which is costing taxpayers roughly $52 million a day. On July 28th, Governor Schwarzenegger was forced to declare a financial state of emergency. More and more companies are fleeing the state to escape the horrible business climate and high taxes. And the breadbasket of Central California is drying up into a blighted desert. It now resembles the Dust Bowl due to radical environmentalist efforts to restrict water supply to the area in order to protect the state's fish, or more specifically, a 3-inch bait fish called the Delta Smelt, an outrage we brought your attention to last year when we took Hannity there live. Perhaps no one is more aware of California's dire than San Joaquin Valley native Devin Nunes, a Republican congressman from the once agriculturally rich area. In his new book, he offers some fresh and innovative ideas on how to tackle all of the menacing problems threatening the future, not only of California, but the entire nation. And joining me now is the author of the brand new book, Restoring the Republic, a clear, concise, and colorful blueprint for America's future. California Congressman Devin Nunes is with us. Congressman, good to see you.
Sean, it's great to see you
again. Appreciate it. Good to see you. The water really hasn't even been turned on, by the way, just as an aside. On top of, what, 13% unemployment, income going down for the people of California. So goes California, so goes the country?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I wrote this book, is because I think people need to know that the politics in California have been exported to Washington, D.C. And so I wanted to be able to point out all the problems that we faced in California and how those relate to the same problems that we're going down now, and how we're really drifting to this, socialist utopia that, quite frankly, I have a little familiarity with. When you see your water cut off, you see unemployment in my district that ranges close to 20%. The community you were in was almost 40% unemployment last year. 40%
unemployment, and the government, because of that little fish that we just showed you, the Delta Smelt, they care more about fish than they did about the farmers and the people, and they still have not fully, completely resolved the issue. It's interesting, because as I'm reading your book and I'm looking at your agenda and the things you're advocating, you're taking on things that it seems a lot of politicians aren't willing to touch here. Redistricting, you want to end it. Energy dependence, you want drilling, you want all the above. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, you're willing to deal with it. Most politicians, they don't want to go near it. George Bush tried. Politicians don't want to touch it because that'll mean they're going to take away some entitlements of people. Taxes, immigration, education, foreign policy. Seems to me that is the winning agenda. The country now understands after Barack Obama and his radical agenda that conservative values will work. Why won't more Republicans take on that conservative posture and take on the tougher issues?
Well, as my good friend Paul Ryan says, no one wants to walk through the fire. And meaning that no one wants to touch these entitlements, no one wants to take on the big issues, because it's hard to go out once people have been promised something, quote unquote, an entitlement. It's tough to take it away.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. If they raise the age of Social Security, if they means test Social Security after, I'm at the end of the baby boom generation, and they take away my retirement, to me that would be stealing my money. Mm-hmm. So is that one of the answers?
No, the reality of it is, if we act now, the sooner we act, the better off we are. So actually in the bill that we put forward, it's to save Social Security, not to end it, despite the rhetoric that you hear on the other side.
But do you say save it by raising the retirement age?
You do not have
means testing?
Anybody over the age of 55 stays on the existing program.
It may shock you. I'm under 55.
So you're on the new program.
And
or if you want, you can stay on the old program. Now, I would bet, under the program that we put forth, you would rather be on the new program.
Because I get to choose and control?
You get to choose and control it. You get to pass it down to your
That
heirs.
I would like. And so, and what happens to the money that I paid in up to this point?
Well, it would just stay in the system. But the problem, the question that we're looking at today is, it's not a matter of Social Security, Medicare, and whether or not that the Republicans have these bad ideas and that we're trying to end these programs. The reality is the programs are going to end because the country is collapsing under the debt that we're incurring.
All right, so a lot of my conservative friends are concerned that Republicans will win this election, that they'll be motivated, they'll go out and vote. Will they return to their conservative values?
That's why I wrote this book.
Do you have concerns that some of your colleagues, maybe not necessarily in the House, because I think the House Republicans are more conservative than their counterparts in the Senate, that maybe the Senate, might go back to, just prior to 2006 and 2007, where I think they lost touch with their conservative views?
That's precisely why I wrote this book, because I want people, the American people, have to know how big the problems are and that there are ways to deal with them. So one of the things that politicians quickly say is, oh, it's a very complex problem. You hear that all the time. The problems aren't that complex. They just have to be dealt with rationally. And so what I try to do is I try to break them down rationally, use some examples of how these things got to the place that they are today, but put forth actual legislation before Congress.
Congress, I don't think it's tough. Live within your means, balance the budget, stop buying votes, eliminate earmarks, become energy independent, have a strong national defense, control the border.
It's almost that simple.
It really is that simple, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. And you deal with all of these issues in the book.
I do.
Congressman, good to see you again. Thank you for being with us. Appreciate it. And